Good evening and welcome to Political Lens on Voice of the People Television, VOP. I am your host, Chukwuma Okoro. Now, in the next 1 hour or so, we'll be looking at indigenous people of Biafra, Ipob, accused Anambra security outfit, Agunechemba, of extrajudicial killings. Alleged that Governor Soludo is targeting innocent Ipob members. Now, before we get into the show, kindly subscribe to our page on YouTube. We are Voice of the People TV. On other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. You can also visit our website, www.vop.ng, for other trending stories. You can also be a part of the conversation by calling in or sending WhatsApp messages to the number showing on your screen. Now, the number is 0904-473-2605. Now, let's bring in our guests. We are joined in the studio here in Lagos, from where we are broadcasting, by Mr. Ifeanyi Okoli. Mr. Okoli is a communications expert and social affairs commentator. Ifeanyi, good evening. Good to have you on the show. All right.
And good evening, our viewers.
All right, then. Now, I'm from our Oka studio by Mr. Victor Agusiogo. Victor is the former editor of Orient. He is the former editor of Orient Daily Newspapers and the vice chairman of Nigerian Union Guild of Editors. The former vice chairman of Nigerian Guild of Editors is also a political affairs analyst. Now, let's get into it. Ipob accused Soludo's Anambra security outfit, Agunechemba, of extrajudicial killings. The indigenous people of Biafra, Ipob, has accused the operatives of Governor Soludo-led state government security outfit, Agunechemba, of extrajudicial and barbaric killing of youths in Anambra State. Well, Ipob made the allegation in a statement issued on Wednesday, that's yesterday, by its media and publicity secretary, Emma Powerful. He alleged that Agunechemba operatives carried out barbaric execution of innocent youths in Owerri-Ezukala community in Orumba local government area of the state, who were working in a construction site when they were killed and labeled as unknown gunmen. He said, and I quote, "Ipob wishes to inform Governor Soludo that if his Agunechemba militia's target is against genuine Ipob members, he will have a serious battle to face because Ipob members are not criminals and neither are they violent against anyone." Now, he also accused Governor Soludo of creating the security outfit purposely to fight against his political opponents in the state. He, however, stated that Ipob is not against any drastic efforts by the Anambra State government to get rid of criminal elements tormenting the state. Oh well, he said, nevertheless, Ipob and ESN will not remain silent when innocent, hardworking Igbo youths are being rounded up and executed in a barbaric manner by murderous militia drafted from Biafra's enemies' camps. Now, according to the Ipob spokesperson, the former Evago operatives have been rebranded as Agunechemba in Anambra State, now led by an agent named Kenneth Emakai. Ipob is not against you doing your job in Anambra State, but it is dangerous for you to kill Igbo youths without proper investigation. Powerful stated that in addition to targeting criminals and kidnappers, Agunechemba security operatives should also pursue headers who are terrorizing the state from forests and bushes, engaging in activities such as kidnapping, raping women, and destroying lands and properties. He added, once again, Ipob supports every genuine effort to get rid of criminals tormenting Anambra State and the entire Eastern region. However, we condemn the barbaric killing of innocent youths, Igbo youths, by Agunechemba militia. There are apprehensions currently that tension was rising between Anambra and Imo states following the alleged extrajudicial killing of 2 Imo residents by Agunechemba. According to media reports on Monday, the people of Owerri-Ezukala community in Anambra State's Orumba South local government area were outraged by the brutal killing of 3 workers by state security outfits who labeled them as unknown gunmen. Now, the community described the workers who were from Imo State and Isuofia, Governor Soludo's community, as innocent. They were in the area for a building project when they were killed during a raid aimed at kidnappers and ritual killers. Oh well, Uncle West, as we popularly call you, as you are popularly called, what is going on in Anambra State? Can you help us understand this back and forth, this altercation between Ipob and Agunechemba? Curiously, Agunechemba, up until this moment, I'm not sure they have responded to these allegations that were made yesterday, since yesterday. What's going on? What's your reaction to all of this?
I will first of all start by commending Governor Soludo for his efforts to combat all this kidnapping and kidnapping for ransom. Rampant killing, you know. So the Agunechemba is a bold step towards eradication such banditry. And anyway, if, you know, in the course of their duty, they made some mistake.
They made some mistakes?
Yeah, maybe they made some mistake because...
maybe they made some mistakes.
Yes, because Oborezukala in question is part of my local government area.
Good.
Yes,
good.
it was an honest mistake because the 3 workers killed, they have not been. There are no proof yet that they are card-carrying members of Ipob.
They have not been.
But they are assumed artisans working in a construction site. You know, say one of them is a welder. I had one of them. Another one is a painter. I don't know what the other one is. So they alleged that, you know, the instrument or the equipment they are using looks like, you know, bomb manufacturing stuff. So, you know, out of that mistake, they were shot.
But Uncle West, from the information you gathered, was there a shootout between them and the young men that were killed?
No.
Because you understand that there were 4 of them that were arrested, and eventually 3 were killed and 1 let go.
Yeah, from the best of my knowledge, there was no shootout. There was no confrontation. So it's kind of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, because there was a tip-off about banditry activity in the area. So that was what Agunechemba was responding to when they ran into these people. You know, so and shot them before they now realize that they are not actually the kidnappers.
Now the question would be, if there wasn't a shootout, the Agunechemba security outfit, are they empowered to arrest, prosecute, and execute judgment?
No, what we will look into is the training they have. Do they have the proper training to arrest situations like that? You know, because you can't just recruit people without training. You know, they attack without investigation, they kill without investigation. That is barbaric anyway, and should be condemnable. But so far, they are doing good job until this mistake. Because if you recall, before Agunechemba, Anambra State is a no-go area. You know, people cannot walk around freely in Anambra State without fear of, you know, encountering kidnappers on the road. You know, in fact, they are kidnapping for ransom. They are killing people that, you know, maybe they couldn't meet up their demand. You know, innocent people dying just for nothing. Until Agunechemba come now. In fact, they are doing a good job. I commend Soludo for that. And I want them to investigate thoroughly before.
Exactly the point. I understand that we have you have made a statement that is something like it was an honest mistake based on the investigations that you carried out and the information you have, the feed you got from home in Anambra State. Now, if this is a one-off, and you said something about the kind of training that they had, why is it that it looks like Chukwuma Soludo was in a hurry to unleash these elements without giving them proper training? Because this shouldn't have happened. This kind of mistake is quite avoidable.
I don't know if you are from Anambra State, more especially from that Orumba South where I come from.
Orumba South is part of Old Agwata.
Old Agwata, yes. And understand how these people are terrorizing the area.
Okay.
Yes, you will understand the need for urgency that
Okay,
Soludo
for urgency.
applied. You know.
Okay.
Yeah. There are sometimes they say, you know, act first, then ask questions later.
Okay, like Colin Powell said. Colin Powell said it's better to seek for forgiveness than to ask for permission.
Exactly.
I mean, when you have done something, you are already asking for forgiveness.
Right.
Because if you had asked for permission before, probably that permission will not be granted. I'm just trying to amplify what you said.
Exactly.
Now let's go back to time. You know, recent past. Charles Soludo, Chukwuma Soludo, does it look like he understood the import of what IPOB or the agitation, what it meant in the Southeast? Because if you ask, a lot of people think that he didn't quite understand the magnitude of what he was going into. There was already insecurity in Anambra State. Immediately he was declared winner. I mean, more like he declared IPOB an enemy. That was one thing he did. He said, look, if the state government, if you had a contract with the state government and you were collecting levies on behalf of the state government, even before he was sworn in, he said, please consider it cancelled. I mean, this is a very strategic thing to do. But that policy initiative, did it come at the right time? Let me take you back to Abia State. Nnamdi Kanu, the face of IPOB, is from Abia State. All through this period, Abia State and IPOB have been very quiet, very peaceful, save for pockets of violence here and there, unlike what we have in Anambra, Ebonyi, and Imo State, where the governors were clearly confrontational and combating. Enugu State has remained peaceful with regard to the issues of IPOB. Does it look like Chukwuma didn't understand the statements he made by declaring IPOB an enemy? Because essentially that is what got him to where he is today, and that he's grappling with a lot.
You see, there's one thing.
Okay.
You know, it is a known fact in the security community in Nigeria that IPOB is responsible for kidnapping for ransom and the killing going on.
You say it's a known fact?
It's a known fact. Yeah, it's a known fact.
So are you able to distinguish between IPOB and unknown gunmen?
That's what I'm saying. That the security community. No, I'm just telling you that it's a fact that the security, that we know what the security government, security community is labeling IPOB.
Labeling them,
yes.
like profiling them.
Yes, that is the profile they have. You know, so when that activity like kidnapping for ransom and killings are happening in your area, you know, if you are the governor in that state, you first of all tend to align with the idea of the security community in the country, you know, and that is exactly what Soludo did, not tagging the IPOB enemy, because IPOB, in actual sense of it, is enemy of the country. Of course.
Enemy of the country.
Yes,
I mean,
because
people who are just waving flag, agitating for self-determination, how come they are enemies of the country?
They are agitating against the government, against Nigeria. So they are already enemy of Nigeria. So that is why the security community is against them. So any governor that is in the state that are facing such turbulences has to react. You know, but you know, it is the extra curricular activities that are associated with these agitations. That is what is bringing the problem. And those extracurricular activities are the kidnapping, the killings, you know, and the robbery.
But curiously, kidnapping goes on in all parts of the country. So why did the security agencies single out those of them in the Southeast? Why did they target them? It's like picking on them. Is there any part of this country where kidnapping doesn't go on?
Oh, of course it does. And in every of those states, the governors are stepping up to combat it.
But the Nigerian state has also not profiled elements there as terrorists and like headers, Mieti Allah, and all of those people that are involved in the killing.
Yeah, but they say called Boko Haram terrorists.
Yeah, Boko Haram terrorists were insurgents. They were insurgents. More known for insurgency than kidnapping and banditry.
Yes. So that's just what it is. So it depends on the way each governor is fighting
Okay.
the stuff in their own state.
Exactly my point. Now you have arrived at the same point with me. Does
So
it
now-
look like Chukwuma didn't understand,
Right.
you know, the implications of what he was going into?
I think he
You would
understands.
agree with me that a lot of people also say that it wasn't this bad during the time of Willie Obiano, was it? Looks like it exacerbated during Chukwuma Soludo's time.
During the time of Obiano fought kidnappers too.
Okay.
He did
He did fight IPOB.
Yes, he did fight kidnappers. You know, it's not IPOB, just like I said. I think they are just trying to slow Soludo's effort down.
All right.
Because to me, Soludo is doing a good job.
Okay.
You know, and the kidnappers are taking over Anambra State. If you are from that state, you will understand what I'm talking about. You know, go to that Orumba South, someplace like Ihala local government. There is somebody that a family that just brought their loved one to bury in Ihala, and they were demanding a ransom of 10 million naira before the dead can be buried. You know, so stuff like that need to be addressed, and that is what exactly Soludo is doing. You know, honestly speaking, it requires aggressive approach, and he's doing that aggressive approach. Yes, mistakes are bound to be made.
Okay.
You know, but let it be minimal.
Okay. All right. You seem to be impressed with what Chukwuma Soludo is doing, which is good. You know, a lot of people also agree with you, even though some other people also disagree. Now, if from all that is happening, does it look like the Nigerian state, that's the federal government, you know, has abandoned the Southeasterners to their fate? I mean, this is your problem. Anything, if you like, you solve it. If you don't like, you leave it. Does it look like, because if the governor is taking charge and DSS isn't doing anything, what is the Nigerian police doing? What is the Nigerian military doing? You also understand that the Southeast has been so militarized. What is the effort? What is the impact of this militarization? The more the area is militarized, the more this insecurity festers. What is the role of the federal government, the Nigerian state, in all of this?
That is the biggest question that should be asked, because if the federal government is not doing anything to assist the states, because if you look at all around the country, all those states that have all these insurgency, federal government is not doing anything to alleviate their problem.
Okay.
So it is now on the onus of the governor to protect his citizens.
Okay.
And that is what Soludo is doing in Anambra State. And I believe other governors are doing the same thing. Many other governors are doing the same thing. You know. So this kidnapping and killings and robbery should stop in Anambra State.
Are you sure he's winning the fight?
I think he will win the fight.
Okay, he will win the fight.
He will win the fight. The fight just begin.
Okay.
You understand? The fight just begin, and he will win the fight.
Okay. Now let's look at IPOB also accused Chukwuma Soludo. They said, look, this Agunechemba security outfit is just promoting it. You know, he just floated it to fight his political enemies. A lot of people have also said, look, does it look like the outfit is a militia that will be used for the 2025 Anambra Goba election? What is your reaction?
I don't think that Soludo is barbaric like that. To float an outfit to fight his political enemy. No, I don't think Soludo is built like that. No, I don't agree with anybody saying that. I won't agree.
You know, but the government has not denied it. His information commissioner has not said anything.
There is nothing to deny when there is no substance in your claim. What am I denying this for?
Okay.
There's nothing to deny about it. There is no substance in their claim.
Okay. Now let's move on. If the issue of let's touch on the insecurity in the southeast. We live here in the southwest. We know what the southwest governors are doing with Amoteku. You know, Amoteku is more like the regional security outfit. You know, they had a lot of battle with the federal government, with the former Attorney General and Minister for Justice. He didn't want to license them for arms and all of that. But the governors, through Rotimi Akeredolu, God bless it, so was able to walk around it and secured all those licenses. Now the people are armed. They are in the bushes, in the forest, you know, trying to counter the marauding effects of killer herdsmen, bandits, and all of that. Recently, they cried out, the governor of Oyo State, even that of Ogun State, cried out and said, look, looks like the Southwest is being infiltrated by terrorists who are running away from the Southwest. Now, Amoteco has been there for I think on top of my head, 2-3 years, and they seem to be doing a very good job in the Southwest. Unfortunately, the Southeast governors have not been able to meet and forge that kind of security alliance. What do you think is responsible for that? I mean, they floated a Bubago. Hope Uzodinma is doing his thing. Soludo is now doing his own Agunechemba. Abia State is very quiet. Ebonyi is doing something. Enugu is doing forest gas and all of that. Why is that lack of synergy in the Southeast? And does that speak to the contentious issue of lack of unity in the Southeast, as exemplified by the inability of our governors, just 5 of them, to work together?
Oh, yeah. You just said it all. It just amplified that lack of unity among the Igbos, because
among the Igbos or among the governors?
Let me say among the Igbos, okay. because it is inherent in the Igbos. Lack of unity is inherent in the Igbos. Just like the popular adage, So if they can come together and do what the Yorubas are doing, I think we will solve some of these problems of insecurity, But all the same, anyway, everybody is to their tent, doing it their own way, and they are like in Enugu, they are succeeding. Okay. Anambra just started, and I hope they will succeed too, because before Obiano, it was like that. Obiano fought kidnapping. Anambra was safe throughout his 8 years, So now he's out. They seem to come back. Soludo is fighting them now. So, and I believe he will win the battle.
Okay, now let's talk about the funding of Agunechemba. In the Southwest here, where we live, there is this Lagos State Security Trust Fund that rakes in billions of naira every day. And you will agree with me that Lagos is more like safer, unlike it used to be before. Now, a lot of Anambra people are very wealthy. Do you think that they're able to work with Chukwuma Soludo to float something like a security fund like we have in Lagos State? Because the governor has been struggling with buying vehicles for policemen, giving them logistics and all of that. At what point will the average Anambra businessman who has a lot of money, at what point will they, wade into the matter to say, look, enough of this is enough. Enough is enough of this. Let us put hands together. Support our governor. Donate money to a trust fund. Buy vehicles. Buy whatever the security agencies need so that we can flush out these elements from Anambra State. At what point do we expect to see that?
Yes, you just said it all. And that same appeal is what I'm making to them. Okay. Because honestly speaking, we need it. We need all these wealthy Anambrarians or these wealthy Igbos, to come out. Help support the government, even though the government is supposed to provide security anyway. But yeah, in a situation like this, it's an emergency. They should come out, support the government, and combat this crime. It is,
funds and say, look, enough of. But it's quite curious that Anambra State, of all places, that has produced practically more eggheads, than any other part of. Comparatively, we understand all of these things. Anambra State seems to have more money than other people, even outside the South. Why is it that they have been very silent? Does it have anything to do with politics? Is it about division, or what is it all about? What do you think is responsible for that lackluster, that laid-back attitude of the average Anambra wealthy person?
That's just it is, let me say, I think it's just the character of an average Igbo rich man. Okay. So they are conservative. They conserve what they have for themselves. If not, I don't see why they can't come together and fight insecurity in Anambra State. I don't know why, but it's just the character of the Igbos. Everybody to his tent. That's how we live.
Okay. Now, Uncle West, let me ask you: if we are struggling with, putting security outfit together across the southeast. I mean, like I said the other time, everyone is doing his own thing. All the governors are doing their own. Everyone is doing his own thing. Anambra is Imo State, Abia State, Enugu, and I'm not sure there is. Okay, Abia State has this Homeland Security of a thing, which is more like a government ministry. But I'm not sure there is a vigilante. Ebonyi State, do they have? In Enugu State, we have the forest guards. In Imo State, I think Hope of them practically inherited a Bago when others abandoned it. Now we have Agunechemba. If we are unable to put together something as little as security outfit, how do you think that the Southeast Development Commission that was recently signed into law by the current president, do you expect any magic from that agency of government?
Because we need it. Let it commence first. Then let's see how it will be run.
Okay, now let's touch on state police, the issue of state police. And you understand that state police has been on the table for a very long time. Even this administration, when they were the way they were in opposition, they campaigned vigorously, for the establishment of state police. The president was very vocal about it when he was even governor of Lagos State. He said, I need state police to do whatever I need to do, to keep peace in Lagos State and all of that. Even before he became governor, during his Nadeko days, he was very upbeat about restructuring state police and all of that. But since APC came into government, nobody heard anything about state police. Up until about 2 months ago, we heard that, look, the 36 state governors have assented to state police remaining Abuja. Okay, so does it look like, okay, if we have this kind of problem with state security outfits not being able to manage something like arrest and interrogation of people, how do you think that? And there's also this accusation that, look, Chukwuma floated this thing, to prop up his political, the campaigns, the election in 2025, Anambra Goba election. Should we be scared about having state police in Nigeria anytime soon?
You see, Nigeria is a different entity altogether, because state police is a very, very good idea. Not only state police, even local police is a good idea too.
Okay, based on the experience in the United States.
Right,
okay.
Because you start policing from the grassroots, from the community to the local government to the state. Just the way Soludo told Agunechemba, the inputs of PGs comes into play with Agunechemba, So the locals are best to police their community, their environment, because they know the terrain.
All right.
If you bring in somebody for Sokoto to come and be the DPO in Orumba, he don't know Urezukala. He don't know my community Abudu. Nor does he know One.
All right.
You understand? Yeah. So he will depend on sycophancy and gossip
and all of that
to work.
But essentially, you approve state police.
Yes, of course, I approve state police.
Despite all the odds or all the impediments.
Security-wise, it is still better.
All right. Now let's bring in our guest from Oka, Mr. Victor Agusobo. Victor is the former vice chairman of the Nigerian Guild of Editors. Good evening, Victor, and thanks for coming to this show.
Good evening, my brother Chuma. I salute you so kindly.
I salute you first. So good to see you. Good to see you on the show.
Thank you.
All right. Now, Victor, let's kick into it because we are almost out of time. We are discussing the security issues in Anambra State, especially with regard to the allegations made by IPOB that Chukwuma Soludo's security outfit, Agunechemba, that they are involved in extrajudicial killing of innocent IPOB people, innocent IPOB members, innocent citizens of Anambra State. They also allege that, look, that Chukwuma essentially floated that outfit, you know, to further his political ambition and to fight against his political opponents. What is your broad reaction to all of this? Especially since you are based there in Awka in Anambra State.
Okay, I will very pointedly say that the situation in Anambra has been so bad. Things so beastly have happened in Anambra State that when you begin to look at security, anything at all seemed a little bit better than nothing for the people here. What I do not know and cannot independently say here is the classification as to who is being killed or not. But I can generally say that Agunechemba, Udogachi, whatever, in the past 3 weeks have brought a semblance of sanity. We are not yet there, but a semblance of sanity. And the joy here is not predicated on total professionalism. It is predicated on the fact that once you are so down, the only place to go is up. So whatever we are seeing now is our own idea of being up. That is just how bad the situation was and how the security in place is trying to handle it.
Okay, Victor, are you aware of an incident that happened a few days ago in Owerri Ezukala community in Anambra State, Urumba South local government area, where 3 people were alleged to have been killed? And IPOB says, look, these are innocent people, but life was snuffed out of them by Agunechemba. What's your reaction to that? Are you aware of that incident? And what and how does that speak to the effectiveness, the efficiency of the new security outfit?
That's what I was trying to offer the foundation for my thoughts. Otherwise, if I express them the way they are, it will not be appreciated. But now that you have asked the question, I am very much aware of what happened. A leader in our profession once said that the only position that one can successfully occupy without any form of training is the position of an idiot. I do not know to what extent the present security outfit has been trained. So I expect a lot of gaps from them. I do expect, because it is indeed a sad commentary on our police system, if I am bold to say this, that after many, many months of the people of the state living in the trauma of all kinds of criminality, it took Agunechemba some 2 weeks or 3 weeks to start bringing about some semblance of sanity to the state. It is a bad commentary and a very sad testimonial on the persons that are legitimately meant to do this kind of job with taxpayers' money. Having said that, I will go back to my original logic that too many things are happening and the variables and the logic of the streets are also out there. It is possible that those who have been terrorizing the whole of Anambra State are not as many as we thought. It is even possible that the weaponry they claim to have had is not as sophisticated as what we are presently having. It is possible that the reward system, put in place by the Soludo administration is working. It is also possible that some people who are presently doing this stuff are very familiar with the terrain, so that they can actually go and scoop out some of the people involved. These are variables that they are out there in the streets that we can make good sense of. But the point that is important to make is that when we talk about IPOB, I tend to be a little bit careful. What is the qualification for membership of IPOB? We have professors who have so much sympathy for IPOB. We have lecturers, we have all kinds of people, big-time businessmen, all kinds of people, very rich people, very educated people, people who do not have any business being in the civil society, who should be in asylum. They're all part of IPOB. It is a big umbrella, a motley of all kinds of people, united by one thing, that it is an organization responding to some kind of stimulus. And the stimulus is, whichever way they understand it, a sense of inequity, a sense of marginalization, a sense of injustice, a sense of exclusion from the common patrimony that we call Nigeria. That is a sense, and that is why we do not even know who belongs to what. So when IPOB, pointedly said that some of their people are being killed, I wouldn't know how they got to that. But the much I can say, very generally, is that some of these mistakes are expected, as bad as they can possibly be.
More like collateral damage. More like collateral damage.
Because lives of people are involved. If you say collateral damage, you sound a little bit unsympathetic, but that is what it is,
yes,
truly.
Yes.
That is what it is, truly.
Yes.
We have a police force, very, very legitimate in our state, and people are being kidnapped in every nook and cranny of this state, sometimes not found. The police did their best, but some of the people here, if they should do a survey, are saying that their best wasn't good enough. And in 3 weeks, we are finding you don't describe security to an adult. An adult feels security, understands when he is secure. You don't describe it. You don't need the media to talk about it. The truth is that people feel a sense of security. And it is not a good testimonial on the legitimate body that is meant to handle it.
Okay. Essentially, now, people have a sense of security more than a sense of surrender, because it looks like the people in Anambra had surrendered before now, a feeling of surrender, but now they have a sense of security. Now, there's this allegation that...
They actually surrendered. They actually surrendered.
Before.
It was a moment of real surrender.
Okay, but now there's a sense of security, around the environment.
Yes, that some people are watching on those who want to traumatize them.
Okay.
Like the speaker in the studio said, I live here for goodness sake. People couldn't do any form of burials in any other area and all of that.
Are those things happening now? Are those things happening now?
No, they may not be happening now, frankly.
Okay.
But there is a general sense of ease.
All right.
People are moving around. There is a general sense of relaxation.
Okay.
The tension in the faces of individuals and as composites and as individuals, the tension is beginning to go down. We are not yet there.
All right. Now, Victor, let me ask you this question. There is this allegation, by IPOB that, look, Soludo floated this, to fight his political opponents and possibly to ensure that he wins the 2025 Anambra Goba elections. Is it some form of coincidence that just on election year is when this outfit is coming out? And he's been there. This is his 3rd year in office, running into the 4th year. Was it an afterthought? Is it a coincidence or what? Didn't he recall, or didn't he remember that he needed to secure Anambra State before this moment? Is it some form of coincidence or is it an afterthought?
Well, queuing very deeply into your line of thought will be another sad commentary on our elections. You don't need to form an Agunechemba or an Udochi, or you start scooping out kidnappers in deep forest for you to win an election. You don't. It is a sad testimony on the nature of our election. Just somebody like me, I'm just, how can me? If the man is not performing, he's not performing. Actually, it is to his credit. Otherwise, the one major factor that will have cost him that election is insecurity. If people are not sleeping and people are not burying their loved ones and people are afraid to do anything, and the traditional Igbo society is taking traditional weddings to Lagos and Abuja, and you say you are a governor and you are constructing roads, it amounts to misplacement of priority. So that will have cost him an election. So if he makes the people secure, then it is to his credit. The way things were moving at that point, given the level of abuse of drugs in this state, those boys will have attempted capturing a governor.
Okay. So Victor, does that validate the sentiment shared by some people that this security outfit is essentially, to foster and fester his political ambition? 2025.
How would that happen?
I mean, people have also asked, why didn't he do it before now?
No, you cannot do everything before now.
Okay.
He had the prodding from the church.
Okay.
I can't remember, the popular priest here was punching him there, The security, yes. Probably
is it Ebube Monso?
Yeah, exactly. So the Ebube Monso, he was punching him, and he represented a good chunk of the Catholic Church. And when you translate that to politics, to the politics of acquiring power, it makes sense to him. But I'm not saying it's because of that. It may be coincidental, because the 200 vehicles, or is it 100 or 200 vehicles that he bought couldn't have been bought in one day. It must have been planned, so the planning must have coincided with the frustrations of the people of the state. The chief security officer.
All right, Victor, let's move away from security briefly. We are running out of time. We are coasting home. If you take away security, Chukwuma Soludo, what's his level of, how do you assess his level of performance? Is he delivering the dividends of democracy to Anambra people? What does the Anambra state economy look like? Infrastructure and all of that. In 1 minute, if you can.
Very, very frankly, I've lived here for quite some time, and I did my job substantially I'll give him a very serious pass mark in terms of infrastructure.
Okay.
That's a very good, wonderful work in the area of road construction and a couple of other infrastructure around the state. If you come into the state, you know actually that he's working.
Okay.
He is really, really working. The best thing that will go for him is the Anambra politics, geopolitics. It is almost like a gospel here. I don't know. For those who are coming in, they have to upturn it by way of the logic that is against it. That is by way of zoning. He will enjoy the benefit of zoning. He will enjoy the benefit of the infrastructure he has put in place. There are excesses about the kinds of people he sends out to do some kinds of job. Those we call Undiakodo. It is the most beastly thing that I ever seen that shouldn't have a place in democracy. A bunch of lunatics is sent out by way of tax collection, levies and all that. How that will impact negatively in his election is for us to know.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Victor. Thanks for coming to this show. But before you leave us, please, can you give us your concluding thoughts on the situation of the security situation in Anambra State? Quickly, 1 minute if you can.
Okay. Well, what do they call it? The fire brigade measure with the Agunechemba and Udonachi, by the time in the next couple of weeks, we should have been done with the Agunechemba and the fire brigade. There should be now a more intentional, thoughtful, creative way to affect the security positively in the state so that it will be sustainable.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Victor. Now, back to the studio. Mr. Ifan Yokoli, can you give us your concluding thoughts on this thing? What do you expect? What should we expect to see in Anambra in the next few months regarding security and insecurity and all of that?
Yeah, just as I said before, that whatever Soludo is doing so far is laudable and commendable. But the security outfit need proper training.
Okay.
they should give them further training so as to avoid mistakes.
All right, then. Thank you very much. Now, this is where we end the program, Political Lens. We've been speaking with two gentlemen from our studio here in Lagos, Mr. Ifeanyi Okoli, who is a communications expert and political affairs analyst. We were joined from our Oka station by Mr. Victor Agusiobo. Now, Victor is the former editor of Orient Daily newspapers. He happened to have been my editor when I was the chairman editorial board of the same newspaper. He is also the former vice chairman of Nigerian Guild of Editors. Victor and Ifeanyi, thanks for coming to the show. Now, Political Lens returns same time tomorrow at 6 p.m.